Okay, so I'm going to go over the high that was put in last night. We just went over it in the stream and we spotted something that is one of the ways that you could have identified. Granted, it didn't give you a trade, and I agree with Magic. Order flow hasn't given you a setup here. Even at the highs, you're not getting your trap traders. You're actually having just shorts pile in, which doesn't give you trap traders or position changing hands. Is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't give you an SFP. From an order flow standpoint, you wouldn't expect what occurred here to take place. But what you can see is a lot of CVD divergence. You're trading when it's higher for when the CVD is higher from previous high, and yet the high is lower. But you can see here we've got the opposing thing take place, which is like normal for RSI. This is like the normal divergence. If you're ever traded an RSI divergence, you can see here that the CVD total amount is actually much lower than it was when we last made this high. So what does that show you? Well, it shows you the lack of interest from the buyers, which is not what you want to see when you're expecting it to take you to new highs. So that's the way that you could have looked at this and kind of gauged that this whole thing here was a really weak attempt of taking off and going even higher, or maybe just to the golden pocket, but it was a weak attempt of taking it higher. And then yes, you did get the SFP, but from an order flow standpoint, you really didn't get an entry on it. But unfortunately, it came at 5 a.m. for me, so there's no chance. Now, the only trade that I actually was awake and actually did take, and we went over this in the stream, was this short from here. Reason being, simply SFP this high. It was a weak attempt at moving up. Volume is much lower than the attempt we made here, like considerable low difference in volume. Sorry, just got a message that put me off. A considerable lower volume in this attempt than we did here. In the build up, in the open interest, everything was weak about this attempt. Then you SFP'd, got back below the daily open, and then I was complaining in the stream for the amount of time that trades are taking to play out now. We were waiting for the level. I was looking for a potential long here, but it was my the main thing was my TP, and that is now hit because it's tapped the pivot. But yeah, I don't really see an SFP trade coming up here. I don't literally, it's not there, but look at that. That is a thing of beauty there. You actually come and tap the previous day VWAP close. Now, I mentioned it a while ago that you guys should be keeping your eye on the previous day VWAP closes. That is pretty neat, actually. Didn't tap it quite, but close enough for it to make a difference. But yeah, it's been rather quiet overall. The open interest has been iffy on the move, but it's been, it has been increasing. So overall, it's an okay move. It's not the strongest. We got asked the question, how can we keep having spikes of open interest? Dropping. It really does drop. Like here, significantly dropped by 5 million, and it's purely the fact that any traders that did enter down here, and you all remember me saying many times when we were trading all of this for the past few days, weeks, and what have you, there has been a lack of shorts into the market. So I don't really see much fuel to the upside. Now, this is just taking out whatever fuel that we did have. So, it's not the best thing to spot if we're really expecting, one of them very rapid rises in price. I just don't believe it to be coming, purely because there was no trap shorts at the bottom. Now, of course, things can change, buyers can come in, but there's a lot of I don't really see it. But do I expect a big pullback? Not really. There's not that many trap longs in this instance. There's actually way more shorts that entered here, and you can really tell from the way that the divergence has come down with open interest increasing now. As long as it doesn't give them too far to take profit from. Well, what this price action is doing now is drawing more in, getting more people out, taking people out of their longs that have entered here, to then take it higher, to then take out the shorts that are probably thinking, this is it now. Caught the short, I'm going to leave it and walk away from the price and come back in 2 weeks and make me a load of money, because there's a ton of shorts that are entering here. So, if we do get a retracement here, I don't expect it to be too damaging, I guess, to the price. I don't expect it to be too big, purely because we've just from run level. It's not a strong high from any standpoint. You can really zoom into the price action and look at the charts. Here we've got one there, so actually it is on a 10 tick. But from a TPO standpoint, it's not the strongest high, and the fact that it was made overnight, I kind of wanted to get taken again. So yeah, hopeful that it comes up. And from a TPO standpoint, it says theory says it will. If you really zoom in, you can find that high is okay actually, but yeah, purely because of the shorts coming in, I do expect it to go a bit higher. But